This video is for absolutely everyone, no matter who you are, no matter what age you are, what gender you are, whether you're retired, whether you're still in school, whatever you're doing, this video is for you. I remember back in May of last year, I was messaging my mate James and he called me one word which had such a powerful domino effect. It changed my perspective and in essence my life. From one word, let me explain. Now, I wasn't ever planning on sharing this video with you guys because I felt a little bit embarrassed by it, but you know what? It is a real life example of the message that I want to get across here. Now, for some people, the word itself might be a little bit like, huh? But the key here is it's not actually about the word. It's about the underlying message, which can be applied to absolutely everyone. So let me share my example first, and then I'm going to explain how it can be applied to you too. So I remember we were messaging and one day he called me a woman. Now bear with me on this. He called me a woman and my reaction to that was, what the f***? Did he just call me a woman? And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm 26, I am a woman. And it was so powerful that it was brought through to my awareness. I became aware of it. And I was totally shocked by it. Now why? Why was I totally shocked by it? I suddenly realized that actually most of my life, people called me and referred to me as a girl. So I acted and I thought less maturely, right? And I know it sounds like a long shot, but stay with me on this. I mean, you look back at any of my videos, even like last year, the beginning of the year, look back at some of those videos and I know I can tell straight away the difference in me if you compare it to these newer videos, you know? So let me explain the process of this and what actually happened afterwards. So throughout our conversations, he always referred to me as a woman. And every time it stuck out to me, every time it felt like he'd written it in like block caps or something or in bold, like woman. I was like, oh my god. I kind of imagine it as like when you say biscuit to a dog and they're like, biscuit? I was like, huh? Woman? Squirrel. And it would just stick out to me every single time. And then what started to happen with that is I started to like feel this like glow inside, if you like. I was like, I'm a woman. What? And of course he didn't know, because just like a lot of people, it's a very natural thing to say to someone, right? So I started to refer to myself as a woman in my inner dialogue to myself and in my outer dialogue to him and to other people. And then what happened? I started to think like women more maturely, and then I started to act differently. I started to dress differently. I had this huge clear out of clothes that just did not make me feel like a woman. In fact, my entire room, I went through all of my wardrobes, things that I'd been holding on to for years, and actually in my new woman mindset, I was like, be gone with you, sire. For now, I am a woman. So now I was acting on being a woman, and then what happened? And this is crazy, right? Because one day I woke up and I looked in the mirror, and for the first time in my life, I saw a woman staring back at me. That's never happened before in my entire life. And bearing in mind here that I've never liked my face without makeup on, but that morning when I looked in the mirror, I was like, oh god damn. Oh, I'm beautiful without makeup. Oh my god, who is this beautiful, no makeup woman? Oh, that's me. That's me. I started to look differently, and it sounds absolutely crazy, right? But I could see physical differences in my face. So it was starting to shine from the inside out. And you know, I thought that that might creep in over time, but no. I woke up one day and it was like, bam, you're a woman. I was like, oh. And the best part of all of this is I started to feel empowered. How beautiful is that? I felt beautiful. I felt confident and sexy, and we stan a confident, empowered woman, right? Now, you already may call yourself a woman, but that's not the point of this video. The important message you need to take away from this is the way that you talk to yourself, even the way you refer to yourself, has the biggest impact. And you won't even know it's had a big impact until later on, because it goes into your subconscious mind first. At the beginning of this year, I got obsessed with neuroscience, with learning about how the brain works, you know, with these neurotransmitters and the, I don't know, hippocampus, the amygdala, the neuroplasticity. Oh, no pun intended. I was literally mind blown. I was literally blown away at how intricate and clever our brains are. In fact, your brain is unbelievable.
Unbelievable, Jeff!
Our brains are a supercomputer, and the way that we talk to ourselves is the programming, right? Your subconscious mind eavesdrops on everything that you tell yourself. So be mindful, be aware of what you're telling yourself. Even if it's in a jokey, funny way, like, oh, I'm such an idiot, I'm so stupid, I'm so ugly. So a lot of you may have already seen the cognitive triangle, right? Where you've got your thoughts, your feelings, and your behavior. And this is a real life example of that, because he called me a woman. And that went into my thoughts. And the secret part of this is he repeatedly called me a woman. And then I repeatedly called myself a woman. And what did that start to do? That started to affect my feelings. And I started to be like, oh my God, I'm a woman. And then after a little bit more repetition, that started to affect my behavior. And then that behavior only increases those thoughts and those feelings, and then we are back in this cycle. I wasn't forcing it, it just happened in such a natural way. Let me show you a couple of pictures right now. This one here was taken at the beginning of 2020, and you know, she's still pretty. Maybe she looks a little bit uncertain, withdrawn, maybe a little less mature, a little younger. This one here, she is radiant. This picture screams empowerment. The important thing here is that you can change. You can be whoever you want to be. And it sounds cheesy, it sounds corny, I know, but if you start repeating that thought over and over again every single day, even if you do not feel like it, the more that you repeat it, the more likely you are going to start to feel it. And only with that feeling is it going to take it to the next level. You can say something to yourself over and over again, but without that feeling, it's just going to stay a thought. And when you do that every single day, you just watch what happens, because all behavior is driven by belief. Like, just think about all the negative things that you tell yourself and just look at the impact that has on your behavior. Because if you tell yourself that you're not clever enough, you're not good enough, what do you think is going to happen? Your subconscious mind is eavesdropping, don't forget. It's like, huh? Oh, we're not good enough? Okay, let me just program this in for you. Hold, please. Or maybe you feel like you're not good at something, so let me just give you a quick example of this. If you have ever messaged me, I have probably come back to you and said something along the lines of, I'm really sorry for not replying sooner, I'm really bad at replying to people, I'm terrible at replying to people, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was repeating that line over and over again, not only to myself, but to other people as well. And the feeling of guilt really elevated that thought. And guess what happened? I became worse and worse at replying to people. So at the beginning of this year, when I started to get into neuroscience, I thought, you know what, let's just experiment with this. I started to tell myself every single day, I am great at replying to people. I'm so quick at replying to people, like, look at me go. Every single day I said that, and even though at first I did not feel like I was good at replying to people, I haven't replied to people since July, you know, so then nothing happened for about a week. And then very subtly, the program started to change on a subconscious level. I didn't even realize at first, but a text came in, I replied to it. Another text came in, I replied to it straight away. And you know what? By replying to more messages, it was actually training my brain to reply quicker, which meant I could reply to more messages. But I suddenly became aware of it, and I was like, it's actually worked. What? And the trick with this is that you have to keep repeating it to yourself, because I stopped. I was like, oh, I'm great at replying now. So I stopped saying it to myself, and guess what happened? I started to withdraw, I started to not reply to people. And bearing in mind here, I had a bit of a dip in my mental health recently, so I wasn't saying anything to myself. But are you seeing the pattern here? Are you seeing it? Your thoughts affect your behavior, and it usually starts with the thoughts. For some people, it starts with changing that behavior first, and then that will feed into the thoughts and the feelings. But for a lot of people, it starts with changing those thoughts first. Your thoughts affect your behavior, which in turn affects your reality and reflects who you are as a person. Because if you believe in something, and don't forget, belief is thoughts and feelings mixed together, then you are going to eventually start to act like it. Because all behavior is driven by belief. For example, you've got social anxiety. What are you telling yourself about that? Are you telling yourself, I'm just really bad at talking to people, at holding conversations. I'm really socially awkward, or I go red all the time, right? Guilty of it, guilty of it. What do you think is going to happen with that? Your thoughts is going to turn into your behavior, and your behavior is actually going to validate those thoughts, which is going to only increase more of the same thoughts, and then you're back in that cycle. And going back to what I said in a previous video, if patterns can be broken and behaviors are different, only then can things start to change. So let's start with that. Say instead, I'm great at talking to people. Even if you don't feel like it at the moment, say it, try it, experiment with it. Say, I'm great at talking to people. I'm not socially awkward, I'm socially radiant. And you just watch what happens next. And including myself in this before I experienced it, there are so many people out there who just believe that it's just the way they are. You know, I'm not going to change. I've always been like this. It's always been my way. But no, the beautiful thing about your brain is you can literally change your brain. You can rewire your brain. And this is something that I'm probably going to go into on another video. But just know that you have the power to change. Experiment with it. What have you got to lose here? And if you want consistency, then repetition is key here. Practice makes progress, not perfection. No such thing as perfection. Practice makes progress. My question to you is, who do you want to be? What do you want to get better at? Experiment with it. Get excited about it. That you have the power to change your brain. We all have the power. Everyone is included in this. I'm not an expert on this. I'm just telling you what I have experienced. And don't get me wrong, this is like the bare basics. I'm talking in a very general sense here. There may be some kind of conditions out there. For example, insomnia. That if you say to yourself that you're going to go to bed at 10 p.m. every night, I don't know if that will work for that. It might do. I don't know. I'm not an expert in that. But I'm talking more in a general sense here. Oh, I'm so excited for you. What are you going to do? What are you going to tell yourself? Let me know in the comments below. What am I going to tell myself? For me, I upload a video every single Wednesday. Every single Wednesday I upload a video. Every single Wednesday I upload a video. Every single Wednesday I upload a video, right? You seeing the energy changing now? I got more excited, more passionate about it, had more energy. And if I keep this bit in, then that's accountability. So you just watch me. Just you watch me. So remember that the way that you talk to yourself is important. It is the programming for our supercomputer. Your subconscious mind is eavesdropping all of the time, and all behavior is driven by belief. Thank you for coming to my passionate TED Talk. I hope you found it insightful and empowering. And of course, subscribe if you want it, and I will see you in the next one. If you want it, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, it was really intense with that. Oh my god, I'll scared myself. Sort of pigeon.